So, yeah, we're live. So, hi everyone. I'm Denis Belkovich, general partner of Fuel Arts. Welcome back to our Art and Tech and NFT webinar series. We believe that building a bridge between physical and digital art worlds is crucial. Also, finding ways to merge those two separate worlds and creating opportunities in this unique intersection. That's why at Fuel Arts, for instance, we prepared 2 online pre-acceleration courses for young entrepreneurs at the stage from idea to prototype. So the program number 1, Disrupt the Art Market, for the founders wishing to make a difference in the physical art market. And the second program, Successful NFT Startups, for those who want to fit in this hot train of digitalization, the hot train of NFTs, to enter the booming and exciting NFT world. The both programs will result in a demo day, and the winner chosen by our respectful board will get a free prototype from Fuel Arts, and they will be automatically taken to the next stage, acceleration, which starts this fall. So the links to know more and enroll to the courses could be found on our website, fuelars.com. And today, among our guests, we have the 2 mentors of that courses. I'm happy to meet again the managing partner of Fuel Arts, Olga Fried. And our main guest superstar, the founder of DSL Collection, Sylvain Levy, the pioneer of digitalization in private collections. He also created the first virtual museum, and what's much more important, he made digital art fashionable back in pre-pandemic times. Bonsoir, Sylvain. Comment ça va?
Tout va bien.
Sorry, that's my limit in French. Thanks for joining us.
In Ukrainian, I don't speak Ukrainian.
Okay, good, but I do. So again, thanks for joining us. We have a lot of questions with Olga, my co-host for tonight, and also thanks for accepting the proposal to be the mentor of our pre-acceleration and then acceleration course in digitalization and NFT. But to begin with, the first question to you is, your child, the DSL collection, is widely considered one of the premier Western collections of Chinese contemporary art. So you started with creating a collection of brick and mortar physical art. And we noticed that you started implementing digital tools for DSL Collection since it was founded back in 2005, right? So please, could you share with us which digital tools did you use, why, and what for?
First, thank you very much for inviting me. It's really a pleasure, and I'm always like very much to, Dennis, we know each other for a long time, to exchange with you. And first, I'm not the founder. I'm the co-founder of DSL. DSL is a family collection. DSL Collection is a family collection, which was we collected with my wife for 37 years. So I can tell you, we've seen how the art world has evolved from, I shall say, a Leo Castelli model to the metaverse or to the NFT. And so this is also very interesting to see how, during all these years, the art world has adapted itself to the transformation of the society. Coming back to your question, in 2005, we decided to make this Chinese collection and to just focus on Chinese art. Why? Because after a trip in China, we had a shock. When you come from a sleeping beauty like Paris to a Red Bull city like Shanghai, you have a shock. And we wanted to try to find in the Chinese contemporary art the energy of what we were expecting in the city, experiencing in the city. We come back and we decided also that we wanted to collect differently. And especially we wanted to open the collection to the public, which was not the case for the other collections that we've done. 2005, it was the beginning of YouTube. And so we said, let us try to challenge ourselves. And something is very important is what is my definition of contemporary? For me, contemporary means challenging the statu quo. And you challenge the statu quo not only by the works that you collect, but you challenge also the statu quo by the way you collect and by the way you share. And so, beginning from this concept of challenging the statu quo, 2005, we decided that we wanted the collection to be nomad, and especially to be phygital. Phygital means that we loan the works, but we didn't want to have a space. And digital, we wanted to surf on this digital wave, which was beginning with the YouTube in 2005. And then we moved with this wave. In 2011, we were the first one to have an iPad application. Then we were also the first one to be on Second Life. And in 2015, we began virtual reality. And in 2020, we went into video games, metaverse. So this is a little bit how we have surfed on this, I should say, this wave, and how we are today opening new projects after the COVID, which are very ambitious in terms of digital projects.
Thank you, Sylvain. Before Olga asks her question, I should explain and probably apologize in front of the audience that I said you, the founder. Saying you, I mean you, Dominique, and your beautiful daughter, I mean your beautiful wife, Dominique, and your beautiful daughter, Karen. So when I say you, I mean your family. You said that we know each other for many years. Yes, that's the reason that something what I say can be not understood well on public.
Dennis, between you and me, your confidence. I am the husband of my wife and the father of my daughter. So in the collection, you know who is who.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Dennis. And next question. Actually, could you please describe a little bit deeper what is DSL collection today in physical and digital terms?
Yeah, sure. Physical first. It's when we decided to build this collection, we decided to have a kind of entrepreneurial, to create an entrepreneurial cultural project. And why entrepreneurial cultural project? And what does it mean for us? Entrepreneur means that you are, I shall say, trying to share. You are always on the move. You are always trying to bring innovation inside. You are very nimble, and you try to create value. This is my definition of an entrepreneur. And we wanted to apply to, I shall say, a very static process of creating a collection, which is just amassing. We wanted to create something a little bit more, I shall say, more challenging. This is my definition of entrepreneur. So, and then after, we wanted this collection to become a project. Why we didn't call it Dominique and Sylvain Levy, but DSL Collection? Because at the end, we want to create a brand, a cultural brand, which can be transmitted to our children without any problem. Because if it was Dominique and Sylvain Levy's collection, it's much more difficult to transmit. So this is the idea first, is to create a family cultural entrepreneurial project. The other thing which was very interesting, we decided to conceptualize the collection, the way we process to build the collection. And especially we decided to limit the collection to 350 works and to change 5% every year. It's like a bonsai. The more you prune, the more you have a very strong, coherent image. And for us, we've begun to conceptualize the collection with this idea of bonsai, of limiting the collection, also by collecting all types of works, but mainly big works. And if you look at the collection, all the works are very big. And in terms of the medium in the collection, I shall give you 2 or 3 numbers. The paintings is 45%, something around 45%. The installation is around 5%. And the rest is between videos, photos, and sculpture. So you see, it's not mainly paintings, it's many, many things, and not just painting. This is how the physical collection is today. The digital collection was about creating new types of experiences to try to reach new types of communities. The first word which came with the internet was accessibility. And so we decided to become accessible. Become accessible through internet, become accessible through iPad, become accessible to virtual reality, virtual video games. So it's very important for us is to become accessible through all the types of medium which opens you different types of experience. The other thing which is very important for us is to try to reach new types of communities. When we went into the video game, we wanted to reach the community of the video gamers. And this was very important. How did we go to the metaverse? It's very simple. 2005, virtual reality. Plus to 2020, video games, gaming. If you had virtual reality, gaming, plus social platform, you have metaverse. So we took advantage of our experience in the virtual reality, in the video game, to go into the metaverse and to create a metaverse. Because we have created 2 spaces already, and we are creating other spaces, which are already interconnected on sensor, where you can move with your avatar from one space to another. And this is the definition of the metaverse. So you see, it's a very logical process in terms of how we try to create new types of experiences.
Thank you. Yep.
Yeah, thank you, Sylvain. So let's move to what has happened in 2020, now happening, was happening in 2020 and 2021, now happening in 2022. So with the pandemic forcing various industries to dive into digital realm, how would you describe the transformation and adoption of the art market to the digital era?
First, I think that the art market and the art usually is not inspired by innovation. I shall speak like this. And all the institutions found themselves in a very, very difficult position because the institutions, especially the museum, were based on foot passage. And the foot passage has disappeared. So already a big part of the model of the institutions, of the galleries, of the museums, of the fairs were, I should say, put into question. And so they had to transform themselves. So they went online. But to tell you the truth, most of the experiences were not good because you don't go offline online by just changing the offline online. You have to create new types of experiences. And this, we are at the process of something like this. At the process. The auction houses have reacted much quicker than the galleries or the museum. They made more and more online sales, and they moved very, very quickly also because they discover that the art market was not only for the traditional collectors, but they could open an art market to a new type of, I shall say, public, which was the millennial, especially with the luxury online sales. So they discovered that the future of the revenues will also come from new types of communities, especially the communities linked with the millennial. So this is what the auction houses have understood very, very quickly, and especially Sotheby's. And so this naturally will bring us to NFT and will bring us to the metaverse. But I think for me, I've seen this transformation through, I should say, what happened in the auction houses more than what happened in the museums or the galleries.
So, Olga, I have one additional question towards Sylvain. Don't you think that the auction houses, they seem to be more sustainable during pandemic because they showed the auctioneer and the broadcast? So they created the illusion of something live, which is happening. Of course, the broadcast was also digital, but the auctioneer was live. But let's say if you compare with the galleries and the art fairs who haven't shown any live spokesman, the auction houses did. So in that case, the continuation of my question is, don't you think that a very successful online startup project or online business should have an offline output, something which reminds the audience the physical world?
I think it's a very good question that you're asking, because once again, you have always to come with a kind of storytelling. Storytelling is very important in art. Art, by its sense, is an object. It becomes an artwork when you add storytelling, when you add the shifting of the soul of the artist to something. It becomes something called artwork. And so you need storytelling. And the one who are really very good in storytelling were the auction. Very, very strong marketing teams. And they also manage very well all the data. So they know exactly how to create the story to make something become valuable. The best is many examples you can take where from an object they made an incredible story. And so I think this is very important that they've done something like this. But what was very interesting at this moment also, they've tried to reach a new type of community by making online sales with luxury goods. This was very interesting also, because the notion of art has moved. And today, what is art is very difficult to know. And you've seen the auction of Virgil Abloh with the sneakers, with the $25 million of sneakers. It shows a lot of things. It shows that today, what become collectible is not what used to be collectible before, but also it shows that you can reach new types of audience by bringing and creating the right storytelling around. And this, the galleries at this moment are not as efficient as the auction houses.
Yeah, I agree with you. But Thank you. You made several perfect additions to the treasury of the, let's say, art market knowledge.
My
Ola?
question is about future. Yeah, how do you see this market? I mean, digital art market, including NFT. Let's say in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. What's the future?
I don't know what will happen in the next 15 days. So don't ask me what will happen in the next 5 years. I think that this is, what is important today is not to try to vision the future, is to try to have the right mindset. The right mindset is to be nimble, is to be someone who can be able to connect dots in a different way, and somebody who is capable to sustain himself financially, but also to be capable to be creative in the way he look at things. How do I see the art market in the next 5 years? I do hope that it will go higher, but at this moment, there are still a lot of questioning on the art market. If you look at the numbers, the global art market, coming from the auction numbers, because the only numbers that we have is the auction houses, is around $70 billion. And it's the same number since 27. When all the other markets have exploded, the art market is still a very small one. Why? Because the way it is done, because the transparency, because it makes the market difficult to, I should say, to be bigger. Because it's still on concept like scarcity, it's still on concept like untransparency, it's still on concept where accessibility to the market is very difficult for a certain number of people. And this is the problem. Do technology will solve the problem? I think technology could be a way to solve the problem, but it will not be solving the problem if the mindset of the people doesn't change. This is my point of view, if I can respond like this to your question.
Are you satisfied? For me, it's a perfect answer. Oh, we have a question from our audience.
Yes.
What is art?
No.
Just 1 second. Yeah.
What is art and what's the purpose of art? Okay, that's a very good question. What is art? It's, I've once again, I don't want to be nostalgic, but I've had a notion of art, which was a kind of century notion of art, where art was something very clear. It was made by an artist, it was sold by a gallery, there was an institutional validation coming from museums, and that's it. And there was the market, but the market was not the most important thing. An art was defined between a gallery, an artist, and museum. That's it. And it was like this. And it was very easy to make a collection at this time. You just went to a gallery. The owner of the gallery was there the weekend, Saturday, and you choose. You are faithful to the gallery. He gave you the best works. You choose the works, and if you were not happy, you come back, and he gave you something else, and that's it. You just choose 5 galleries, and you're a happy man. Now it's becoming very complicated because of what is the ecosystem between the art fairs, the auction, the galleries. Now you have to introduce the digital aspect with platforms like Artsy. You have to add also a digital platform like ArtPrice. You have to add Instagram. you have to add the fact that it's no more local, it's global. So to pick a work today is not something so easy. So what is an artwork today? It's something very special in the way that it's very difficult to define. An artwork for me today is at the middle of the art world, traditional one, of the luxury world, of the entertainment world, of the cultural world, and of the financial world. An art world today is in the middle of that. Everything is influencing the notion of art. And what is the purpose of art? I shall say, what is the purpose of collecting art? Collecting art can make an ordinary person have an extraordinary life. So what is important? If you look at art, look at it as a way to make yourself have a happy life. This is my answer to your question, to the questions.
Thank you.
I would be happy if this question was mine, so I'm pretty sure our listener is fully satisfied. I mean, if I were him or her, I would be very happy. But thanks to our listener, I realized that there is the same problem with NFTs we're slightly moving to in our conversation. I believe you will agree with me, Sylvain and Olga, that nowadays we have, let's say, several key misunderstandings of what NFT is, and misunderstandings they are let's say in those groups of people, in those groups of customers and NFT creators who are responsible to create the content and who are responsible to create the ecosystem. I mean, the buyers and the artists. Most of the artists who are creating NFTs now, they forget that they should create an artwork first, and the NFT is just the tech coverage, tech legal digital coverage of that. From the other hand, a lot of NFT buyers, they consider NFT to be art only, and they are forgetting that there is a lineup of different NFTs, like metaverses, like fashion, music, cinema, other collectibles, even utilities, not to mention sports and game industry. So, Sylvain, my question is, how do you believe NFTs can change various industries which are enumerated, including the art market, first of all?
You know, you said that the NFT came to the attention of the public in 2020 with the sale of Christie's of the Bible. So, you know, we're in 2022, just the beginning. So it's very difficult today to have a very clear answer to something which was a kind of bubble mushroom, which happened into this in our world. And today we don't speak of art, we speak of NFT. So let's take a kind of let's relax and try to imagine what we are experiencing. I think that the NFT for me is more today. It's more a container first. It's a container. Inside you can put whatever you want. You can put an image. You can put an artwork. You can put whatever you want. It's a container which is linked with a crypto money usually, and which is linked with a new community of people who wants to have access to things which they can flip, they can change, they can exchange very easily, and where they can make a lot of money very easily. So the art world itself is not, the art himself is not the most important thing at this moment. But for me, NFT has opened very interesting perspectives. First is it has decentralized the art world. Because now you don't need any more galleries, auction houses. You don't need any more, shipping companies. You don't need a lot of things are put in question with the NFT. A lot of things. And this is, people don't realize that the NFT is really shaking dramatically the traditional ecosystem. This is the first thing. The other thing is that it made everybody become his own creator. Everybody can create an NFT. So everybody can become an artist or whatever you want. So this is also very interesting. Also, what is interesting is that we see now artists who are really creating art for this type of medium, which is not just a translation of a JPEG into an NFT, but people really want to create art for this kind of medium. Okay, so we are in a kind of world where everything is a little bit in the process of being done. What is sure is that the numbers of dollars which we speak about on NFT is not at all the same as the number of people collecting NFT. The number of people collecting NFT at this moment is very small. And they are playing themselves to make the market go up. But the people collecting NFT is very small. The last thing that I want to say about NFT is part of this new life that we are having, because now everybody has a digital life. And because we spend between 3 hours to X hours on this internet virtual world. And so your digital twin will have his own emotion, desire, way to connect, and way to consume. And so the NFT will be a proof of identification of this digital good that you're going to buy. It could be a Gucci, it could be a painting, or it could be a land. It's part of this new world called the metaverse, where the NFT will have its significance because it's a kind of proof of ownership.
Thank you, Sylvain. The only I should say in reply that please don't think that that was the last question about NFTs to you tonight.
No, I don't think so.
We have questions from Anna, and partly for sure we have just answered, and it was a good point, I think. Yes.
Yeah. What can we tell to those who are very skeptic about digital art in general and NFT art hype now? So I believe Anna won't be offended if I rephrase restruct a bit the question and formalize it a bit, since you've replied to the part of the question. So the essence of a collector of physical art is being engaged with his collection. You know that better than most of us. So what could you advise to those physical collectors who are skeptic moving to or buying some NFTs, moving to digital world? What will they be passion of? What's the passion of NFTs? Is there a passion there? I would say. Because I've heard from several collectors in a row that, let's say, digital art, it has not that much history. Digital art creators have not that much passion devoted to the work while creating it. So, but of course, the digital art starts from even before the demo scene in 1970s, and also we can find the, let's say, siblings of digital art in 1960s. And so what would you advise to the collectors who are afraid to move from physical to digital?
I take my case.
A long and dull question, and a small and punchy reply. Thank you, Sylvain. Olga?
My question is about, a lot of people pits physical art.
Can you want me to answer to your question, Dennis, and to answer to the question of Anna? Yeah, perhaps I will answer to the question of Anna.
Okay.
Anna, thank you very much for asking this question, because this question is exactly the situation where I am. So it's interesting to give you my answer, because my answer perhaps could give you an answer for your question. I think, Anna, even if I'm always skeptic by nature, I'm always open-minded. I think that, once again, in art, like everything in life, the worst thing is fear of missing. If NFT is here to stay, you will buy NFT in 10 years. There's no problem. And if you didn't buy today, you will buy tomorrow. If I cannot buy an artwork, I will buy another one. No problem for me. So first, stay open-minded. Stay open-minded. Try to understand. And if you feel that it's something which is relevant for you, you do it. But you don't do it because the others do it. You see? And I think this is something with everything which is linked with technology. You don't have to do it because others do it. But you have to be very open-minded and try to understand, and don't say, no, I don't want. Skeptical, in science, has always made science progress. When you're skeptic. And I think the NFT is the same thing. Stay skeptic, because you will progress. So for me, it's exactly my position today with the NFT. We bought one NFT. And so shall I make a collection only based on NFT? No, but I can find artists who are creating NFT who are relevant for the collection because of what they are doing in terms of art, but not in terms of NFT. What is important for me is always technology which serves art, and not art which serves technology in the collection. So this is perhaps an answer to your question, Anna. Be skeptic, but don't, I shall say, don't abandon the idea of trying to understand what's happening. And if you feel happy with that, do it. If you don't feel, don't do it.
On behalf of Anna, we say you thank you. So
my next question is about, a lot of people pits the physical against the virtual art world, like two different worlds with no connection, not understanding, that something like this, like opposite worlds. What do you think about this?
I will tell you, people today go to shops and go to e-commerce. So I think it's today this kind of, it's an old story. We are in the 21st century, 2022. I think that to make a division between two alternative realities, because the virtual world is a reality today for many people, and especially for the young generation, and it will become more and more their reality. And so we have to today to navigate from one to the other. And we have to create different types of experience and not try to, I shall say, to replicate the same experience. But we have to live with, we have to live with, and the metaverse will come. We like it, we don't like it, it will come. And like everything in life, it can be good, it can be bad, but the metaverse by itself is not bad. The NFT by itself is not bad. It's how you use it which can become bad or can become good. So I think that, once again, today we have to move to something different today. And something different for me is much more, for me, the biggest challenge for me is how we can stay human in this new world in which we are entering. This world looks like 1984 in a certain way. And the only way to stay human is to bring art and culture inside, is to bring humanism inside. And so if the NFT is made by an artist where I can still have an emotion, and the word emotion is very important in art, is very, very important in art. If this object called an NFT brings me emotion, it's okay for me. If it doesn't bring me emotion, I don't care. So forget the separation between the two, but try to take the best of the two.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sylvain. My next question is, as soon as we started mentioning collectors and mentioning the importance of merging the two worlds of digital and physical, I should admit that one of the key marks which characterizes today's community of NFT collectors is their community activity. They want to share, they want to communicate with each other. However, it was quite hard to, let's say, create unions of collectors back in the physical world. And there were number of unsuccessful examples of trying to create that professional unions of collectors, because they are, in many cases, they do not want to communicate. So in terms of that, do you see also that the, let's say, creating a community of digital collectors could lift the collecting experience of NFTs on a new level? So does it give value to the market, the, let's say, the desire of NFT collectors to communicate, to be engaged on Twitter, on Discord, and so on, in opposite to the physical market?
You know, at this moment, Dennis, at this moment, the generation who are the big collectors are not going to go into NFT, and they are going to stay the same type of collectors. So we will have two types of collectors, two types of markets. You will have at this moment, and from time to time, you will have perhaps some people being in the two part. And perhaps in 10 years, it will be much more mixed. But today, we cannot imagine that everybody will be all together. I think that what the NFT has shown is the notion of community. It's true. It's true that the art world it's a false community, to tell you the truth. I think that most of the art world is not a community, is a singularity. Spirit of community, if I speak like this. There is a spirit of community when you open a museum. It means that you really want to show to the others, and I really respect and really have a lot of
connection.
But once again, you know, Dennis, very cautious and to try from the, I shall say, the digital world to infuse into the traditional one, but also to take from the traditional one and to infuse it into the digital one. Because I think that exchanges between the two communities, I think everybody will feel frustrated at a certain time. And I hope that people will understand that. I hope that the institutions, especially the museums, will now look at new types of artists, not always the usual suspects. I hope that they will bring into the museum new types of community. Just to give you an example, Dennis, we have opened in 4 museums permanent VR room. You know, in Shenzhen, Kiev, Bogota, and Hong Kong. And it's very interesting what happened there. First, it has changed the mindset of the people of the museum. This was the most difficult thing to do. To bring the VR inside was to make people from the museum accept to have something inside. Then after, they were very happy because it brought new types of community inside the museum. And so you see, we can, I'm very, by nature, I'm an optimistic person. And I think that all this will take time, perhaps, but time goes very quickly. But we will find a way to make things, I should say, speaks the language of our time.
We have good comments here.
Sylvain, thanks for the idea of being skeptic, but to be open-minded.
My pleasure.
Yeah, Teacher's Art Management is one of the leading art educational institutions. Yeah, we know each other. So
thank you for your comment.
Hello, girls. Happy to have you here. Sylvain, you've mentioned Kiev. It's my hometown, and I'm really looking forward to visit Kiev and to see the development, the improvement which you've made, the permanent installation, your collection, which is in the Institute of Contemporary Art of Ukraine, and that have led me to the final question in our discussion. You know that for sure, everyone should know that this collaboration couldn't be possible without one of the startups whom you are advising to, whom you are mentoring, the art. And the art was also in our first batch and among our proud graduates of our acceleration program in 2021. So regarding the fact that a lot of startups are keeping in mind and trying to reach you, making you their mentor, let's say, could you please reply to those whom you might have refused? Let's say, can they hear now 3 advice to the art tech startups from Sylvain Levy? And the rest will hear your advice during our mentorship.
You've put the hardest question for the end. I would prefer to have it in the beginning. It's very difficult to give advice to people, really. I think I'm not an advisor in any case. I like to exchange with people, and I like to push and to help projects. Once again, I think we have to forget the idea of advising or board of advisors. I think that it's like a team of football. Everybody plays, and the other to make things success. Today we have today with Dominique, we like and we love to support projects which are challenging the status quo. It's the question with the art. It's the question also with the T-Shirt School, New York, with the metaverse with T-Shirt School. We have also other projects on the video games with the Forgetter, with June. We like to to be in touch with our new time we feel being part of the 21st century by having the chance of being on this boat. So what advice I shall say? I shall say, first, for me, a startup has a meaning if it solves the problem. If you have to come and to solve a problem, if you just come here to make something with this, just a gimmick, I don't think it will last. This is very important. The other thing is very important is also to look at your sustainability. It's very important to look at things not on short terms, but on long terms, at least on the middle terms, to really always have this idea that you have to manage the time. It's very, very important. And also, for me, what is important is always to be very nimble, very nimble, very nimble, very open-minded, and to try, to adapt yourself as much as you can. This is how we try with the collection to move. But for me, DSL is a kind of startup in a certain way, as I said in the beginning. It's a kind of, at least spiritually speaking, we manage DSL as a startup. But once again, what is also important is that every collection is a personal journey. Nobody has the truth. And we have to respect all types of collection. All types of collection. And we don't have the truth. We have our own truth. And so this is also very important, is to respect what the others are doing. And if it's your story, it's not your story, and that's it. But you have to respect the traditional collectors. You have to respect the traditional museums, and find your own way to make this journey become extraordinary.
Thank you, Sylvain. Thank you, Sylvain, for being so visionary and enabling challenging projects to happen. From June, Tales from Cyberspace.
June is we are partner with them on this new video game, which will happen, which will be finished in May or June, and you will see it will be a very interesting video game. Very interesting. It's done by a Franco-Romanian team, and really, I'm learning a lot about this team. Like I've learned a lot with the team of The Forgetter.
We'll be happy to invite them to one of our webinars, which will be connected with merging art and gaming, because it's all about gamification. For instance, our next guest in a week will be Malaysian artist Poesie Liang, who added to her series of artwork some kind of gamification and created her project as a startup. So the question will rise next week is, can an NFT artistic career be considered a startup? But that will be next Thursday. And today we were incredibly happy to meet you here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And one more, Dennis.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's from LinkedIn.
Session. I normally ignore the videos on here, but this one is me.
Yeah, on here.
Thank you, David. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
We are happy to serve the
Have a nice evening, and Dennis.
Yep.
And once again, thank you very much for inviting me. And it's thank you very much for inviting me, Dennis and Olga. And let's keep in touch. And really, I really enjoy our discussions.
Thank you, Sylvain. So see you in the nearest time, somewhere in Europe, and for sure, anytime in the metaverse.
Dennis, Paris is still a very nice city. Huh?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. See you.
Thank you, Olga. Thank you, Dennis.
Bye.
À bientôt.
Bye.